the same realm where you get to have more fun too with the dynamic figure drawing. Again, we're still going to kind of go into a couple things where the anatomy proportions. Now, they have to be correct as far as like when I draw the arm, it should be correct to the rest of the thing I drew. For instance, if I was drawing like the Hulk over here, okay, if I decided I want to draw this as my superhero or villain or whatever you want to call him, if I'm going to draw this and I have one arm that's all big and bulky and then I draw this one too skinny, it's not going to look right. Okay, so we're not exaggerating that. If we're making our superhero super muscular and big, all of it should fit. Does that make sense as far as proportion? So I want you guys to exaggerate it and have fun with it, but it has to fit. Okay? You're still working with value and you're creating space. And what space means is that you have foreshortening. We'll go back to the Hulk here. See how his hand is coming out at you? That hand is in foreshortened. That means sometimes it looks a little bigger than what it should. Okay? And that doesn't mean it has to be an extreme foreshortening, but it does have to have some foreshortening. So if you look at this one, I think this one has more of a mild. This one kind of has more of a mild one because see how he's putting his head way forward instead of the hands, and the hands are back. Okay, so you have to have the foreshortening, and of course you're telling a story. Now your story doesn't have to have a ton of background, but just a little bit. Meaning your story could be he just with his action, the way he's, whatever your character is doing or looks like. Okay. I know some of you like anime style and different. This is where you can explore with that and have whatever you want. But again, proportions are going to be huge. The anatomy proportions are going to be huge on the key targets. One thing that you guys are going to have to do is before you start your final, I want to see 5 sketches of the figure you're going to do. And it could be in different poses, or you could just do 5 of the same one, trying to practice what it's going to look like. Okay, and I mean just sketches, rough like this. So I can see that you're understanding some proportion and that you got things going for you. Okay. The final has to have more. I chose this one because you don't want to have just this much of the character. I can't see that you have proportions there. You got to have more of where some of it might go off, like his elbow and an elbow and a piece, but the majority of his body's there. Okay. Or hers, whatever you draw. So again, put this into a storyline. Doesn't have to have a bunch of figures fighting each other or anything like that, but maybe just whatever the background could be, you know, some cityscape if it's a person in a city or whatever. I just want you guys to make sure that you're and the other thing is if you don't want to do a character like this, you want to do something realism like a dancer or an athlete of some sort, you can do still realism. I'm not telling you not to, but you are having an opportunity to have some fun with this one and exaggerate. Okay, some people might want to do still something more elegant and something that is more realistic. So, but shading, your value and anatomy proportion, those are going to be huge things in this foreshortening and how you create your space in it. Okay, the space sometimes automatically comes by telling the story and having the foreshortening, so that one's usually taken care of easy. But make sure you're looking hard at these 2. Questions? All right, let's get started.